everyone, and welcome to Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. I'm Arman Dabaj. It's a brand new year, the first trading day, and no fireworks on D Street, 10,829. That's the level that we're watching. But let's watch out for a lot of stocks because we'll be flagging off a total of 30 names on the show, getting you a crisp and comprehensive view of all the stocks to keep on your radar. Well, time to bring on board our team of research analysts. There's also Kunal Bothra and Hemin Kapadia joining in to share their technical take. Well, let's get started. Happy New Year to all of you, and let's begin with the first stock, and it's the recap relief, which is keeping UCO Bank in firm fettle, and that's putting it mildly, Mubina.
Oh yes, double-digit gains coming in for the state-run lender. The central government is going to infuse a little over 3,000 crore rupees of capital into it by way of a preferential allotment. This is a decision that has been conveyed to the bank already. And remember, by the end of the second quarter, its capital adequacy ratio stood at 7.57% versus 9.32% a year ago. So this fund infusion would certainly go a long way in aiding the bank. Remember, the government already holds 90.8% stake in the lender as on 30th of September. Now, do remember, we had seen pricing action come by in many of these PSU banks last week itself when the initial announcement of the recapitalization came about. Today, however, with the exact amount being released in the public forum, we are seeing a massive uptick come by. And, you know, it's been a massive surge from last week lows of 19 rupees odd all the way now to a level of 22, 24 or 23 odd rupees.
All right, that's the take coming in on UCO Bank, and that's a massive surge. Meantime, let's also pull up another stock that's in focus, and no surprises to see Siemens yet again, Kunal, flexing its muscles. What's in store for 2019 for this stock, or as far as the eye can see?
So I think the stock has been in the focus both in terms of volumes and price action, Avan, and the stock has gained quite well last month as well. So it's after seeing a drubbing for almost 14-15 months. Almost on a regular basis, the stock has shown some very good price and volume recovery last month. So I believe that could be a positive sign. Now the stock is trading above its long-term averages. The trend is quite smooth and stable for the stock, and I believe that's a positive sign for long-term trends for the stock. Would recommend a buy with a positional target on Siemens of 1140 and stop loss at 1020.
All right, that's the important level to keep an eye out on, 1140 to be watched out for. Meantime, it's stocks from the pharma space as well that merit a mention, and Lupin is on the radar today. Positive news, Vivek.
Well, that's right. Post all the negative news that we saw towards the end of 2018, especially with the Mandidi facility getting so many observations in the Form 483, almost 22 observations, some amount of approvals are now coming in as far as Lupin is concerned. The US FDA has given an approval for an oral suspension tablet that is used to treat seizures, and this is something that has a significant market size as far as this particular disease is concerned. So on the back of that, Lupin positive in trade, up almost 0.5% in the session today.
Oh yes, indeed. Knocking on the doors of 850 is Lupin. Which are the other stocks to watch out for? Well, a lot of the real estate stocks are building in gains, and there's one that stands out today. That's IBREL, or Indiabulls Real Estate. Well, the company is in news today, or the stock in news today, as they have completed the divestment of 50% stake of their two office assets in Udyog Vihar, Gurugram, and that's at an aggregate enterprise value of nearly 464 crores. This is to the entities that are controlled by the Blackstone Group. So with this, the company will be exiting the wholly owned subsidiaries, and now that's a stock to keep on your radar. Moving on then, Siddharth, at number 5, let's chat a little bit about SRF, the first stock that's in the red today.
Well, yes, and we are seeing, heightened volume and price action on the negative side since last 2 weeks in SRF. Now, first day of this calendar year, we are seeing 17% rise in open interest. Mind you, it's not an illiquid stock. More than 2,100 contracts so far traded in futures segment. That's quite liquid. And 17% rise in OI means these are short positions. 200 DMA, which is not very far, may also get challenged. So, negative observations when it comes to SRF.
All right, keep an eye out on SRF 1960. Remember, the entire market is in a fairly somber mood as well. Moving on then, it's HCC that's in the news today, and Mubina, that's keeping the stock active.
Well, do remember HCC had recently concluded their rights issue, wherein even the promoter, family had essentially participated, and that is something that did cause the promoter family's shareholding in HCC to rise to about 33% Remember that it's not just today, but in the last 3 trading sessions that HCC has made considerable gains. So it raised about 497 odd crore rupees through the rights issue on 27th of December, and the small cap index has logged in gains of almost about 30% during the period, taking into account, of course, today's intraday high as well at a level of 14.29 rupees. In the last 1 year too, HCC has gone up a good 63 odd percent. The rights issue, remember, was oversubscribed, with HCC getting applications worth more than 550 crore rupees, through which, of course, it would issue only 49.75 crore equity shares. And yeah, promoter shareholding increased to 33.12% from 27.8%.
HCC 5.7 and counting on the stock. Meantime, let's focus in on pharma names as well. And Hemen, the Sun Pharma on your radar. Tell us a little bit about how you see the stock trending, because no doubt we have seen a reversal in the trend line, but is this sustainable?
I think so. Aman, it looks like a recovery, but the recovery has a long way to go. We are correcting a deep fall. It's posted a higher top, higher bottom on the daily as well as the weekly chart. I'd say a buy with a stop loss of 426, a target of 451. Mechanical indicators on the daily chart have signaled a crossover by Aman, indicating there's further upside.
All right, check in on Sun Pharma, the uptrend likely to sustain. Meantime, today's the day for autos for sure. Vivek, take us through what the expectation is. Why is Ashok Leyland in focus?
Well, Avan, going into this particular season, December 2018 is expected to be quite neutral as far as most of the auto companies are concerned, and especially autos with who are part of the CV demand cycle. So Ashok Leyland is in focus. What most of the analysts are penciling in at this point of time is that there has been a lot of deferral in purchases. There's been a lot of reasons for that. Number one, the insurance norms that have come in. Number two, there's been a liquidity crunch.
Welcome back. This is Market Fatafat right here on ET Now. We're counting down to all of the stocks to keep on your radar in trade today. Well, we flagged off 15. Let's move right on to number 16. And within the mid-cap arena, there's Tata Communications in focus. Hemen, why is this a hold?
Well, Aman, frankly speaking, it hasn't done anything much. This is the 9th week running when the stock is moving sideways. There is no directional bias. Large range between 500 on the downside, 560 on the upside. Needs to close below 500 for a downward breakout. Needs to close above 560 for an upward breakout. I have a feeling there could be a small upward bias looking at the market. So hold with a stop loss of 500.
All right, that's the take coming in. Stop loss 500. Meantime, ICICI Pru is definitely on CLSA's list of financials that they're bullish on, Mubina.
Well, yes, that it is. They're in general talking about the banking space, and they're speaking about how the NPL situation, the acceleration, coverage acceleration is on the cards. They're cutting their FY19 as well, earnings estimates for private banks, but they do expect a sharp recovery from FY20 onwards. Now, their top picks are corporate banks with a strong deposit franchise, and ICICI Pru is one stock along with ICICI Bank, IndusInd Bank as well as HDFC that makes it to their list.
All right, there's indeed quite a few names have been flagged off on CLSA's list. ICICI Pru, the top pick. Meantime, let's focus in on Centrum Cap as well. Don't flag the stock off often, but Vivek, why is it a newsmaker?
Well, earlier in 2018, what Centrum Capital had done was that they had divested their entire stake in the money exchange platform that they have, Centrum Direct, and now they sold it to a company called Libix. Now they got almost 1,200 crores with that particular deal, and now what they've done is that they've utilized the money. They've gone ahead and acquired the supply chain finance business of L&T Finance. Remember, they had raised and flagged off margin concerns in the money exchange business, and this is a business that they're more bullish on at this point of time. So Centrum Capital will be interesting to see how they can take this particular business forward.
The view coming in on Centrum Capital. Let's move right on then and focus in on some auto sales numbers that have already come out. Apart from Atul Auto, there is Maruti as well that has come out with its numbers. Remember, it has been a bit of a rough ride as well for the company so far, and this time around the sales numbers have missed estimates. Down 1.3% at 1.28 lakh units. You have the passenger car sales as well that have fallen nearly 5% at 83,729 units, as the mini segment, which is particularly Wagon R and Alto, and the compact car segment has registered a 14% and an 3.8% degrowth gone by. The export numbers as well have led to a lower set of overall numbers. The domestic sales growth has been discouraging. The disappointing passenger sales numbers as well has weakened the overall growth for the month gone by. So December hasn't been great for Maruti, and that's reflecting in the stock price right now, down about 0.2%. Meantime, let's talk a little bit about BEML. Siddharth, what are the observations today as the stock is in consolidation mode?
Well, yes, Avan. Firstly, if you apply, basics of derivatives, then if prices are down and open interest is increasing, one would assume that these are short positions. But then you have to see positionally also what's happening. Now, stock has done really well in last 1 month or so. In last few days, it has been consolidating. Today, you're seeing 1% move on the downside, and that's not a big move for a stock like BEML, which is a high beta name. And you're seeing 7 to 8% rise in open interest. So rather than reading this as a short positions, you should see it as a consolidation and probably give more weightage to the broader trend, which is upward, and assume that these are probably long position, because if these were shorts and it's like 7 to 8% rise in open interest, stock should have been down much more.
Okay, that's the take coming in with respect to the observations. Moving on then, it's Bank of India, which is continuing its up move, Kunal.
Absolutely, and most of the PSU banks, they have been on a strong footing. So irrespective of the market volatility, I believe that this sector has managed to outperform, and especially names like Bank of India, because the stock just about a month and a half back was trading sub 80 levels. Now it's at 105, trading above its 200 DMA as well. So I believe that there is a stable trend which has now come back into many of the PSU names, and especially for Bank of India, would maintain a buy with a target of 112 and stop loss at 100.
Okay, that's important to note. Levels to watch out for on Bank of India. But nonetheless, a thumbs up from Kunal. Meantime, it's a lot of the aviation stocks that are in focus today. Why is that, Mubina?
Well, positive news coming in for most of these aviation names. This is after we have had IOC cutting the ATF or aviation turbine fuel prices by 9.99 rupees per kiloliter. That's almost about 14% to 58,000 approximately rupees per kiloliter. This is one of the biggest drops we've witnessed, and it's caused ATF prices as well to tumble to their lowest level in many months. That in turn obviously would bode well for aviation names that do consume significant quantums of ATF. It does contribute a big part of their raw material costs, and hence you are seeing the likes of an Indigo and Jet Airways go higher today in trade.
All right, watch out for the aviation pack, and they are certainly holding out. Meantime, Vivek, it's Axis Bank as well that is on the radar today.
Well, a very important development has happened with the end of 2018. The MD and CEO, erstwhile Shikha Sharma, has retired, and now we have a new MD and CEO, that is Amitabh Chaudhary. In addition to that, this is a very significant development. In addition to that, today we saw a significant block deal. Almost 0.3% of the total shareholding of the company exchanged hands via a block deal, and it'll be interesting to see who was the buyer and the seller once the block deal data comes out today.
All right, important developments there. That's the latest which is coming in on Axis Bank. Shikha Sharma retiring at the end of the last year. Meantime, let's move on then to Lemon Tree. This one has sure been in news of late. They've been really undertaking a lot of expansion plans. Now CLSA has come out with their report, and remember, this has been fairly consistent as well since its listing. CLSA maintains a buy. They've got a target price at 87 rupees. They're saying that the execution capabilities is going to support the expansion for the company, and the capex intensity is likely to reduce sharply from FY21. That's going to bode well. So therefore, they have a positive stance on Lemon Tree. Meantime, at number 25, let's pull up IGL, and what exactly are we seeing? Because this stock is quite steady today, Siddharth.
Well, I will give that answer, Avan, and certainly we are seeing high volumes in today's trading session. In fact, its highest volume in 1 week, and that too in first 2.5 hours of the trade, and I'm talking about cash market. If you look at 200 DMA, that has been decisively breached. So this is price volume breakout above its 200 DMA. Then come to derivatives, you are seeing 5 to 6% rise in open interest, and volumes there are also pretty high, which means there is formation of long positions. So all in all, from technical and derivative perspective, this is a price volume breakout, and that's the reason we are talking about it.
Yeah, 2.5% and counting on that stock. Meantime, Hemain, let's pull up another PSU bank, and that's Bank of Baroda. Technically, how are you approaching this stock?
I think, like you mentioned, talk with the other guests, the PSU banks are doing well, are expected to do well in 2019. Bank of Baroda is not an exception. Higher top, higher bottom on the daily as well as weekly chart. The mechanical indicators on the daily as well as the weekly are supporting the move, are in buy mode. Stock is quoting over the 55-day exponential moving average. I think a further upside clearly seems to be in the cards. But since it's a run-up, it's not a fresh buy. Hold with a stop loss of 116.
Right, so not a fresh buy at the current levels, but the momentum, it's likely to sustain. And yes, a lot of those PSU banks are in focus today. So is United Spirits then? Let's understand what exactly the news bit is, Mubina.
Well, not such good news. It's certainly going to temper down any sort of hangover people may be having from last night's partying. United Spirits and Radico Khaitan both are lower on account of the fact that the Maharashtra government has decided to hike excise duty on IMFL or Indian-made foreign liquor by 20 to 25%. Now, this is for the premium and the mid-size segments. For smaller brands and for foreign liquor, the hike is to a smaller extent of anywhere between 4 to 5%. This is, of course, as per reports at this point of time, and apparently changes have already been made to the Maharashtra Portable Liquor Act, and that is something that is causing significant pressure to come by on these liquor companies, because do remember the last time as well when Maharashtra did hike duties, and of course remember Maharashtra is an important market for the liquor segment. We had seen pressure come by on United Breweries, who had told us that there is dwindling demand in Maharashtra. So this is something that may have an impact on IMFL companies like United Spirits as well, and hence you are seeing that downtick come by.
Yeah, no positive news for that sector, and clearly the stock is feeling the heat. Meantime, it's Tata Motors as well, another auto stock. Let's talk a little bit about what the ET Now poll is throwing up by way of December auto sales numbers, Vivek.
That's right, Avan. Avan, in fact, if you're talking about Tata Motors, well, the street is anticipating a weak monthly sales number. In fact, if we're talking about the passenger vehicles numbers, seen almost 10% lower on a year-on-year basis, coming in at close to 13,000 units. Company set to significantly lose market share consistently. And even the CV sales, if you're talking about it, are expected to be down almost 7.5% at close to 43,000 units. So, as far as the 18 hour poll is concerned, we aren't expecting any wonders from Tata Motors monthly sales numbers.
Okay, that's the latest of a bit coming in on Tata Motors. It's definitely been a very bumpy 2018, and for now the December expectation isn't too upbeat. And then at 29, let's flag off Yes Bank as well. Talk a little bit about, Siddharth, the kind of volumes that we're seeing.
Well, Avan, this is 10th or 12th session that Yes Bank is consolidating in a very narrow range, and we know the kind of news flow this bank is surrounded with. Such long consolidation doesn't sustain for long. Today we are seeing high volumes in future segment. Mind you, there's no visibility of formation of long position, but volumes are high, and we are seeing price action also is quite decent. So watch out for this stock, because it cannot remain in consolidation for long, because news flow is quite heavy.
All right, that's the take coming in, 1.5% on Yes Bank. On that note, then, we'll wind it down right here on the show. Thanks for watching Market Fatafat. We take forward all the action on markets at noon.